Mr. Mayor, Council, let's pray. Father, we are entering into new seasons. And I pray that today, as some of the people who have served this community finish up their time and as others step in, I pray that you would bring those two worlds together. That you would do this work that you do, where you take all of our messiness and you make something amazing out of it. I pray, Lord, for the powers that are here, for the powers that be, the authorities of this city, Lord, that you would just lift them and use them to do amazing things into our community. That they would be blessed with your divine imagination to see new ways to just create community, to build up, to encourage. That they would find friendship amongst each other. That they would recognize the hard work that every single person who has ever sat up there has done, and that they would honor it by taking it to the next step and building up. So bless this time in everything that we do. Bless every person here, Lord, and use us and fill us in encouragement in this season of change, Father. May we glorify you in everything that we do. And we pray this in Jesus' name. Amen.
I can have a roll call. Here. Move on to item 4, consideration of the approval of the agenda. Councilmember Lambert.
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda as submitted.
Thank you. Councilmember Lewis.
Second.
All right. All those in favor? Aye. All right. Motion passes. Thank you. Move on to item 5, consideration of certification of votes, municipal election. This will go to our city clerk.
Before you tonight are the results of the election from November 5th, 2024, electing Councilmember Kenneth Lambert to District 1, Councilmember Lewis to District 4, Lucy Lawrence as City Treasurer, and Michael Amabile as Mayor, and recalling council members in Districts 2 and 3. And we're just requesting that you accept the certification from the Merced County Registrar of Voters.
All right. Thank you. And do I have a motion? Councilmember Lewis?
Yes, I move to accept the certification of Merced County Elections Office.
All right. Thank you. And a second, Councilmember Lambert?
No, second.
All right. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right. Motion passes. Thank you. Move on to item 6, administration of the oath of offices.
Raise your right hand. I state your name.
I, Deborah Lewis,
Do solemnly swear
that
that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of California
and the Constitution of the State of California
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
that I will bear true faith and allegiance
that I would bear true faith and allegiance
to the Constitution of the United States
to the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of California,
and the Constitution of the State of California,
that I take this obligation freely
that I take this obligation freely
without any mental reservation
without any mental reservation
or purpose of evasion,
or purpose of evasion,
and that I will well and faithfully discharge
and that I will well and faithfully
the
discharge
duties upon
the duties upon
which I'm about to enter.
which I'm about to enter.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Kenneth Lambert,
do solemnly swear that I will support and defend
that I will support and defend
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of California
and the Constitution of the State of California
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
that I will bear true faith and allegiance
that I will bear true faith and allegiance
to the Constitution of the United States
to the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of California,
and the Constitution of the State of California,
that I take this obligation freely
that I take this obligation freely
without any mental reservation
without any mental reservation
or purpose of evasion,
or purpose of evasion,
and that I will well and faithfully discharge
that I will well and faithfully discharge
the duties upon
the duties upon
which I'm about to enter.
that I'm about to enter.
Congratulations. I state your name.
I, Lucy Lawrence,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support and defend
that I will support and defend
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of California
and the Constitution of the State of California
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
that I will bear true faith and allegiance
that I will bear true faith and allegiance
to the Constitution of the United States
to the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of California,
and the Constitution of the State of California,
that I will take this obligation freely
that I take this obligation freely
without any mental reservation
without any mental reservation
or purpose of evasion,
or purpose of evasion,
and that I will well and faithfully discharge
and that I will well and faithfully discharge
the duties upon
the duties upon
which I'm about to enter.
which I'm about to enter.
Congratulations. I state your name.
I, Michael Amabile,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support and defend
that I will support and defend
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of California
and the Constitution of the State of California
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
against all enemies, foreign and domestic.
that I will bear true faith and allegiance
I will bear true faith and allegiance
to the Constitution of the United
to
States
the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of California,
and the Constitution of the State of California.
that I will take this obligation freely
I will take this obligation freely
without any mental reservation
without any mental reservation
or purpose of evasion,
or purpose of evasion,
and that I will well and faithfully discharge
and I will well and faithfully discharge
the duties upon
the duties upon
which I'm about to enter.
that I am about to enter.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Come on up, Mr. Mayor. Okay, if we could have roll call, please, Lucy.
Lambert? Lewis? Amabile?
Here.
And now it's reorganization, number 8, reorganization of the city council, the selection of the mayor pro tem. So I have opened it at this time up for nominations. I'm going to go start. I know, Ken, you've been mayor pro tem for 4 years now. So I'd like to nominate Ms. Lewis for pro tem, mayor pro tem. Would you like, anyone else like any nominations?
Mr. Mayor, I'll just second.
Okay, second that?
Yeah.
Any further discussion? Okay, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Congratulations. Now I'm going down to do some resolution for Mayor Paul Yanez. First, we're going to vote on the resolution before I hand it out. So before us is City Council Resolution number 6857, a resolution commendation to Paul Yanez. We have a motion and a second. Ken?
Mr. Mayor,
That's on.
I'm up. Mr. Mayor, I'll make the motion to accept resolution number 6857.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second for resolution 6857. Any further comments? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. We do these resolutions before I get in. Okay, we're going to go ahead and do resolutions for the outgoing council members. So resolution number 6858, and it's resolution commending Brett Jones at his seat for city council.
Mr. Mayor, I'll make the motion to accept resolution number 6858 as read.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second for 6858 as submitted. Questions or comments? And hearing any, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Okay, we will move on to resolution, City Council Resolution number 6859, commending Douglas Begonia.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes?
I'll go ahead and make a motion to accept resolution number 6859.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second for resolution 6859. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it, and the motion's carried. Well, the tech has changed in 16 years up there a little bit, so I know you were a master at it. But anyway, a heartfelt thank you from the citizens of Las Banos. You did an incredible job as mayor. You ran around the county, the state, you went to Washington, D.C., representing our city. That is so important. Las Banos has to be known throughout the valley, the state, and the country. So we are recognized for grants, everything. We can't thank you enough. And it's my honor to give you this resolution today, commendation to Paul Yanez. And it says, by the City Council and the City of Las Banos, that it hereby expresses sincere gratitude and appreciation to Paul Yanez for his service to the city of Los Banos in his capacity as mayor. Thank you so much. Yeah, I guess correct. So you have your plaque and your gavel.
If I feel like holding a meeting in the
Yeah,
garage for the kids.
exactly. And maybe it'll work. Keeping them in line. So again, thank you very much. We really appreciate it.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
And Dan Bronson, I know you're here somewhere. There you are, Dan. Come on up. Dan's been with the city since 2001, and he's decided to retire. And I was actually here back in 2001. You were. It's a long time ago. And you've been a great employee of the city, representing us, doing your job well. We really appreciate it. And it's my honor to give you this proclamation on your retirement. And it says you were hired as Utility Maintenance 1 in December 3rd, 2001. And then you moved up the ranks in May 1st, 2004 to Utilities 3, July 1st, 2007, and appointed to that same position. And then you were promoted to Fleet Maintenance Coordinator on October 1st, 2013, where you remained there as a vital part of the fleet operations of this city. And now today you are going to retire. And it's my honor that as a mayor and the city council members, the city of Los Banos do hereby commend Dan Bronson on his dedication and loyalty to the city of Los Banos and congratulate him on his retirement. Thank you very much. This is yours. Thank you very much. Next, we have Christy McCammon. Christy has been a great employee at the City of Los Banos, and I'll get to know you much better. She works as a housing program manager at the Community Economic Development. And in recognition of your outstanding performance and dedication to service to the City of Los Banos, for being named Employee of the Month for November 2024. Congratulations. Okay, now it's time to go to item 10, which is the public forum. Members of the public may address the city council members on any item of public interest that is within the jurisdiction of our city council, includes agenda and non-agenda items. No action will be taken on non-agenda items. Speakers are limited to 5 minutes presentation, and the detailed guidelines are posted in the back of the city council chambers. At this time, I'd like to invite anyone that would like to come up and speak. Carolyn, could you go to the mic, please? Yes, so everybody wants to hear you.
I would like to congratulate all the new members of the City Council, and I would like to thank all the outgoing members for your service. I noticed last meeting listed on the agenda, there was to be a PBID report. There was no report. How can we get a monthly accounting of PBID income and expenditures? How do we get that? And that's my question, and I hope that somebody will come up and help me find the answer to that. Thank you very much.
Thank you for your comments, Carolyn, and we'll have Stacy contact you and tell you what's going on with the PBID, okay?
Thank you.
Anyone else like to come speak?
Hello, my name is John Spivak. Some of you may know me. Been around for 53 years in Los Banos. I'm here for two reasons. One, I want to thank the community for their passage of Measure P, which will help expand and grow the Los Banos campus. Many of you know I've been a part of that campus since it started, and the fact that we had such a great response, over 75% of the folks in Los Banos and Dos Palos voted for it. Just want to thank the entire community for their support. Second reason I'm here is that I want to introduce to you our new reporter from the West Side Express, Emma Reyna. She'll be our reporter at the council meeting for the next, hopefully in a long time. And I'm sure that you will make her feel comfortable. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Please state your name.
I'm Elaine Corey, and I'm here too on the PBID. We know that they have a paid accountant and they run QuickBooks, and there is no reason why they can't run a monthly detailed profit and loss and present it to the property owners by the 10th of the month so we know where the money goes. We need transparency, and there has been none, and there's no reason or no excuse for it. We need details. We want to know who gets paid and for what items and how much. We don't want any of the generics we've gotten in the past, which is just lump sum categories with lump sum amounts. We want details. We want information. And we as property owners should be entitled to that. The council voted and approved this, and you even approved a 2% increase on our tax bills on top of what we were already paying. We need to know where our money goes. Thank you.
Well noted. Thank you.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. My name is Stephen O'Day. I am a treasurer with the Los Banos Police Department. I'm speaking on behalf of the association and President Michael Neal. Just want to congratulate you, Mayor, on your victory. And we're welcoming you back to the council seat and want to wish you a successful term. That's it. Thank you.
Very much.
Good evening. I'm John Fulton. I've talked to a few of you over the years about this issue. I'm part of the Audubon Christmas bird count, and I know that we just heard that Los Banos has, with our outgoing mayor, has tried to improve our image nationwide. We already have a good image in terms of birds for Los Banos. Merced County is the #1 county in the U.S. in terms of the hunter harvest every year. So we are already known as being very important for birds throughout the entire U.S. and the entire world. So Los Banos is bird central. About 2 years ago, we were coming back from the pandemic, and after 100 years of the Christmas bird count, 50 years of Los Banos doing the Christmas bird count, we shut down because of the pandemic. 2022, we get back up to speed. So I've got a couple of reports here that I was going to print them out tonight, but my printer died. The report is 416 pages. So I was going to bring that to each of the members, each of the people, but I didn't have time to get a new printer, right? So I saved you 400 pages of reading. So the summary is that The Las Banos Christmas bird count each year covers a 15-mile circle, including the Las Banos sewage ponds. So 2 years ago, I was informed, after having resumed after the pandemic, doing this bird count, that the city of Las Banos no longer considered birds important. In fact, the canal south of the Las Banos High School was the residence for hundreds of breeding birds called herons and egrets. So I was on a bike ride down there. I counted 50 birds that had been shot. 50 nestling black-crowned night herons, snowy egrets had been killed. Each bird is a $100,000 fine. So the city, rather than investigating that, the city must have talked to somebody, or somebody talked to them, but the city cut down the trees. So I'd like to turn around that lack of support the last 2 years and see if we can get back on track and help support the Christmas bird count. So I'm not sure if the city has backfilled the positions, but the 4 people that I've talked to in the last 30 years there have all resigned, been fired, or been replaced. So I'm not sure who to contact. So at this point, we're trying to plan the 2024-2025 Christmas bird count. Who do I talk to about getting permission to include the city of Las Banos' premier waterfowl refuge area at the wastewater treatment plant so we can get access in there on the 26th of December for the Christmas bird count this year? So if you have any questions, I'm here.
Thank you, and Lucy will contact you on who to talk with. Anyone else? Please come forward.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I want to congratulate the mayor and the council on their election. There needs to be some things moved forward in the city that have had the lack of attention. Number one on my agenda is to deal with the Shaughnessy Park that I have been blamed for not building, which is untrue. I want to work with the city on Shaughnessy Park to get it built as soon as we conveniently can get it done. In addition to that, I want to work on Deanza Boulevard, which I have been blamed for not installing, which the city has accepted, completed all of the improvements relative to the development agreement, and that was untrue also. But I will work with you together to get those done as soon as we can. I have never received a call to meet from a city councilman in that district to resolve either of those items. That's a fact. I've been here since last February speaking to this mic about the facts. And those that were listening on the dais that were responsible made up lies. I'm here to set that straight tonight. We have several issues that we need to deal with in this community, which is getting the parks built. And whether you elected mayor know it or not, there's over $20 million collected to build parks in the last 10 years. Where is the money? Not one single park has been built. We've always got just stories. And each permit in Shaughnessy Park alone, where that park is not built, over $7,400 was collected and provided to the city on each home that we built. Over 151 homes were built there. Where is the money? There's been a bid awarded as of maybe 6 months ago, after 5 years, but the city has failed to purchase the land since knowing they didn't own it since March. I still own it, or one of my companies does, and they have ignored it. I want the parks built because all they've done in the community is right. They want them built. But all that's come out of City Hall is lies that I didn't build them. The city has collected all the money. I cannot build them. they must go to bid. They have failed to do so. And I will tell you, some of the information came out of Public Works, it came off the dais, and it came out of the planning department was lies. We'll deal with that another night upon facts. I'm insulted by this city because of the lies that have been made up over these parks. The city has got the money. Over $100 million in traffic fees, park fees, all the fees they collect, which is over $25,000 per house. Where is the money? I'm going to move on to the homeless. That needs to be fixed. So I'd love to meet with the city so we can help, and I would be glad to assist it because I have ideas and I also have money to help. And move on to the city manager. The $1.8 million plus over $200,000 a year payment schedule. My opinion is he's inexperienced, incompetent, and my opinion is based on what I've heard from former employees and current employees. They're preparing to file a lawsuit against the city, a class action lawsuit for harassment and a hostile work environment. The city needs to address that and investigate that. Lack of investigating those facts that are on the board tonight to you from me that I researched in the city and around the city will create a huge liability if it's not addressed. In addition to that, the city manager currently gets $200,000 allocation to spend any day he wants. That has historically been $5,000. It needs to be revoked and positioned at $5,000 like every city manager in the last 40 years has had. The city manager's situation needs to be addressed. He needs to go. Thank you.
Anyone else? Please come forward.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. My name is Blanche George, and I live in the downtown area. I wanted to thank the continuation of assisting with the animals. We have plenty of homes in our city that have plenty of animals in them. Some of these animals get lost, and the community all comes together, and also the shelter and code enforcement actually too. And they all come together to try to assist, to help to find these animals, to rescue these animals. Something that you may have been already studying, is that, and you've been listening, is that the police department, the code enforcement officers, and all the employees at the shelter have been doing a great job. You will find that these individuals really care. They hang up their hearts, but they've been working with the animals, teaching them, retraining them, comforting them. In fact, there's even been a flight or two of rescues flying in to rescue a dog and to fly them back out for a forever home. The shelter continues, the building continues, and the signs. And the past mayor has been quoted of saying that he was just the kind of guy, he was a mayor that would say just yes, and he'd step out of the way for individuals to go forward with assisting with the animals. The lot of houses that we have and the animals in every home deserve a great shelter and rescue. There are volunteers that help out every day. Earlier today, we met with a business that needed some assistance with feral cats. We looked for a dog that had been gone for 3 weeks. we trapped a few cats, and I transferred some rescue cats. But the animal shelter and its employees, and counting the police chief along with his commanders and Sergeant Ivan Mendez and the code enforcement officers that rotate in and out. It's been perfect. It's been great. They've vastly do so much work that nobody really knows about, but they do it every single day. And not only that, Mayor, there have been people that have volunteered their monies to also help with the shelter. There are people that post certain things, and there's positive posts and reactions and reviews about the shelter. So we ask that you continue the effort with the shelter as it continues to grow, and just say yes and help support the city manager. And just so you can know, some of the projects, the other departments help out too. Public Works, they've always helped out with any of the tasks. All the departments. Parks and Recs, they loan us the facilities, and they come to assist on the days that we do rabies and, rabies vaccinations and everything. So I just ask that you continue this effort. Thank you.
Thank you. Please state your name.
Good evening, Mayor, Council, and staff. Congratulations, Maribel Garcia on behalf of the Los Banos Downtown Association.
Thank
you. Basically, we just want to thank everyone who joined us for the Santa celebration at the former drugstore. Your participation made it truly a special event. We're very excited to actually announce that we will be open on Saturday, December 7th from 5 to 8. So for anyone that would like to actually take pictures, please stop by. And please don't forget to visit the wonderful downtown businesses. We have 20 of them participating to make this season bright. They have a window contest going on, so which is really amazing because we have Kimmy Stitches, we have Heritage Salon, Azul Rustica, we have Oddities and Crystals and Oddities, Montero Bakery, Country Duck, Los Banos Chamber of Commerce. We have Positive Changes, Health Time, Little Diamonds Pizza, Perli Luxury, Flor de Lis. We have the Los Banos Treasures, also the Los Banos Flower Shop. And so the community will vote the winner. And so please come take a stroll in the downtown and enjoy the wonderful lighting that we have did for the community. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Kathy Ballard. I was trying to think of something to come up here and say other than congratulations. So I just have one question, and it's on item 12 for how to fill the vacancies. I know I read in the West Side Express there's two ways to do it, is to run a special election or to appoint. I know that the election won't be until March, and so I'm just giving my 2 cents in regards to hopefully appointing so that we can get the positions filled prior to that and not do the expense of a special election. That's it, and congratulations.
Thank you.
Good evening, Mayor and council members. I'm Anna McCauley, local resident. This last election was a total sleaze. I will tell you, I've never seen such despicable big billboards in town. Anybody passing through would wonder what the hell goes on in this town. to have such sleazy billboards. And for one business to spend $500,000 just to make sure that he will get a lapdog council coming around. And I hope that whatever you do, and whoever the next 2 council members are, that you're not a friggin' lapdog council and give him what he wants. Because there's been plenty that this council or previous councils have said that have approved things that he needed to do, and it never got done. So, you know, there's probably blame to go around. I'm not going to deny that. I don't know all the facts, but I just think that the election was a real sleaze, and we should never see that again. I can't imagine people coming through town here and wondering, what goes on in this place? You know, we're not that big of a town. You know, somebody mentioned about our migration of birds, and it's really quite an honor to have that distinction across the country, around the world. But then when you see sleaze like those billboards, that's pretty low. I think there was another way to handle it. But when these and this is the law, whenever these signature canvassers can be hired, they don't live in this district, wherever they were. They came in from out of town. They just spew whatever they're told to spew. People that don't really follow what goes on are signing up. Councilmember Lambert, I'm glad that your district liked the work you were doing and kept you on. I think that was smart. You know, for $500,000, you don't see this kind of, you know, the landscaping around Anderson Homes is beautiful, even right outside their area. That builder cares. He looks about his project as a total statement of his work, of how he's proud of things. So I think that, you know, it's not about impact fees. Sometimes, you know, if you make enough friggin' money from your homes, the least you can do is do something extra for your community that you built. Enough on that. We spent, my husband and I spent about 10 days this October actually, in Grants Pass. That is, we've been through there many times. We've spent a day or two here and there at Grants Pass. We were up there 10 days, and I'll tell you what, those homeless encampments are damn clean. You don't find filth. You don't find what looks like what we've got out here now. It's pretty despicable what we've got, and I hope that whatever you folks are going to do to clean up the homelessness issue, that you clean up the environment. There's no trash in those encampments up in Grants Pass. They've got showers, they've got sinks, they've got places for trash to be put. They are clean. You know, it's almost like you could almost eat off their floor. I mean, that's just how clean they are. So we've got a lot to do, and hopefully we will get there. Because I don't know, I didn't read into the court's decision, but when I look at Grants Pass, I've been there. We spent 10 days there, and you can't ignore it. And in several places, we never saw anything that was questionable about, you know, oh, wait a minute, they slipped up here. It is clean. So hopefully we will get to that point here, because it can be done. And they don't allow these people, if they don't keep something up, they don't allow them to just go someplace else and create a mess elsewhere. They're just not allowed to even be in the area. So hopefully, you know, we'll see something improve there. And, you know, I just hope that we don't have a lapdog council. I know if you're going to go the appointment route, I hope you don't get your buddies, because that's where we're going to end up. And we don't need a lapdog council for anything. We need to get stuff done. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Please come forward. Okay, I do not see or hear anyone coming forward. So I'll go ahead and close the public forum at this time and move on to consideration of approval of the consent agenda.
May
Yes.
I note that we did receive one comment prior to the council meeting? We did receive
Okay.
one public comment prior to the council meeting, and in accordance with the guidelines, it's posted on the city's website.
Okay, thank you very much for that. Okay, now I'd like to close the public forum. Okay, so item 11, consideration and approval of consent agenda. Item on the consent agenda are considered to be routine and voted on in one motion unless removed by the consent agenda, from the consent agenda by a city council member. And Lucy, you want to read off what's on the consent agenda?
Items on the consent agenda are as follows. Warrant numbers 247623 through 248829 in the amount of $8,850,204.34. Minutes for the November 20th, 2024 City Council meeting. City Council Resolution number 6860, approving and adopting final track map number 2021-01, Quail Meadows Villages at Stone Creek 5, Phase 2, Unit 2, Lodi Development, Inc., a California Development Corporation. And the items are to be approved as submitted.
Okay, does the council have any questions on the consent agenda? Mr. Lambert? Okay. Ms. Lewis?
Thank you, Mayor. There are two items I would like to pull for discussion. That would be item A under the check register and item C, resolution number 68060.
Okay, Jen, you have anything? No? Okay, so we'll go ahead and pull off item A and C, and at this time, we'll go ahead and Debbie, you can ask your questions on item A to
Okay.
11A.
I have 6 checks that I had questions on. 2 of them, check number 247720, written on October 4th, in the amount of $416 and $416, $487.78 to a Casey Curtin. And also check number 247932, dated November 11th, to the same person, Casey Curtin, in the amount of $44,267.12. So I'll start with those first and see if I can get an answer, and then move to the others.
Did you receive my email?
No, I didn't.
Okay, I sent an email right after lunch today, responding to those. It's the roadway project is the first one, and there were 2025 road overlay projects was the first one that you asked. So what was the other one?
Well, they were both to Casey Curtin.
Yes, they were progress payments.
He's the president for Consolidated.
Yeah, it's the it's the under
Councilmember Lewis, it's Casey Curtin is an official of Consolidated Engineering. They're the construction firm that recently paved the streets. The contract was about $2 million. So these were progress payments. The Casey Curtin is an official, but I think the check was made out to Consolidated Engineering.
Okay, on the check register, it was made out to Casey Curtin.
The individual.
Yeah, it's the individual.
Yeah. Well,
okay. Well, he's an officer of Consolidated Engineering.
Okay. So, out of curiosity, is there a reason why we make it out to the individual rather than to the licensed company?
Look, that's on their W-9 and how they've structured their invoices to be paid.
Okay. So I would assume we don't have a policy within our city that if somebody is doing business with the city of Los Banos, if they have a business license and a business name, that they receive their payment under that business company.
So it is for the W-9. So as Mr. Kuhn stated, so it is based on their W-9 and how the vendor provides that W-9 to the city and how their taxing structure is set up. So as a sole proprietor, it actually would be paid to the individual because they are the sole proprietor. If it is a corporation or a limited liability company, then it would be made out to the company.
But in this instance, it's probably a sole proprietor, and that's how the W-9 is filled out
Yeah.
for the city.
Based
Okay.
on their tax ID.
All right, thank you. The next check is 247,900, written on October the 11th to Alan, to Arnold J. George II for $8,485.80.
I believe that was for the PD design, the new PD decal design that is going on vehicles. Yes, I'm sorry. I wish I. What's that? It's for painting of vehicles. Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Okay. The other one was check number 248067, dated October the 18th, payable to Game Time for $139,859.65.
That was a playground purchase. Game Time is a playground company, so that was, I believe, the Ranchwood Park building,
Pennington.
Pennington's daycare
Yeah.
facility.
Okay, and I just have two more. Check number 248151, October the 25th, made payable to Menifee Ranch Company for $30,821.22.
Remember what I wrote on there.
Councilmember Lewis, that was our half of payment. Menifee Ranch did
Wastewater treatment plant.
a fence out by the wastewater treatment plant, and we agreed to share 50% of the cost of the fence.
Yes. Thanks, John.
Okay, so it's part of our wastewater treatment plant.
Yeah,
Yes,
the
ma'am.
perimeter fence.
It's
Okay.
a good neighbor thing.
Yeah, it's a good neighbor fence.
All right, and then the last one is check number 248294, dated 11/1, payable to Robert and Susan Henson for $3,078.38.
Again, I believe those were decals for police vehicles. They have a DBA, but their taxing is ideas on them. So,
Correct.
Yeah.
That is for the decals that go on personal vehicles. And that company's called.
yes, Science Solutions, DBA.
So this is the same situation where they
Yeah.
fill out their paperwork.
As themselves. I mean, in our vendor list, it has their DBA, but their W-9 is specific to that. That's
Okay.
the reason why we write the checks to that.
All right, thank you for answering those questions. And Mayor, shall I move on to C or?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Okay, the first question I have, and this is, it's not a super big deal, but I've noticed that some of our developers in town, I would assume follow the rules in applying for their signage when they're building a new product. We have some developers who have put out what I would call similar to a campaign sign on a stick that's been nailed into the ground. So is in this, on number 23, under the general information of the development agreement, it talks about the applicant following permanent or either temporary on-site or off-site signs according to our municipal code. And our signage code is rather lengthy. I'm not sure which ones apply, but I guess I just kind of want some clarification in my mind, because this particular developer generally follows, the rules regarding signage. But I've seen other developers, at least in my district, that have put out signs that don't seem to follow our sign ordinance. And if they are like a campaign sign that's put in the ground, I've been told that those have to be picked up after the weekend is over, that they can put them out for a weekend showing, but they're not to be left there on a permanent basis. So is there any particular, are all the developers required to follow the same signage ordinance in regards to their advertisement?
Yes, they are. Under
Okay.
the sign ordinance within the zoning code, it specifies what is required for subdivisions specifically.
And
that's
it's the
where this
same for
provision
each
would-
developer?
Yep, yes it is.
So then a developer that would put out a non-permanent sign or something that doesn't seem to have passed the muster in our department, would they be required to pick those up during the week? I understand they could put them out during the weekend for advertisement to lead people to their sites, but they're not to be left out there permanently. Am I correct on that?
I think we're talking two separate areas of the sign ordinance. There's a provision specifically for subdivisions, letting buyers know that model homes are open or that it's, so-and-so developer is located in that area. And that's permitted on private property, so typically within the subdivision. And then there's another section of the sign ordinance specifically to say real estate sales, and maybe it's an open house or the selling of specific homes. Then homes this way, model homes this way, and those signs that I think that you're talking about are kind of I-frame signs. Those would follow under that section, which are temporary signs that are not considered permanent, and they're not meant to be permanent. They are supposed to be picked up on a regular basis, or after that home is sold, or those model homes are closed, then those are to be picked up. But they're different sections of the code.
So what I've seen is, signs that are put out in the public right of way, and they're left there. And it's just like a regular campaign sign on a stick. It's not anything that seems to be permanent. So I just needed clarification whether or not, if we're going to have developers who are developing residential areas for sale, that the ordinances apply to them equally, and not anyone have something applied to them differently than another one who has paid the appropriate fees to have their signs put up, and perhaps the other one didn't. So this was not geared directly at this developer. I just needed to have clarification so that if something did come up like that, that it would be something that our staff would take care of.
We would work with our code enforcement division.
All right. And then lastly, on item number 85 under public safety, it talks about the developer shall dedicate Lot B, which is 1.4 acres, to the city of Los Banos for a fire station number 4, which will be constructed by the city of Los Banos. Is there any way that we can work with a developer, since their cost of building a fire station, and they're not required to pay prevailing wages as the city is, to build this and then the city reimburse the developer?
I'll jump in since I've been here a bit, and we have discussed that topic with this particular developer. The ask was put out there, and we did have some pretty good discussion, but the response was, we do not specialize in public safety facilities and buildings, and that the recommendation from the developer, the builder, was that we should utilize a construction firm that specializes in public safety buildings. So we agreed, and we went a different route. But that condition has been completed, that the dedication of that lot for the future fire station has already been completed, as well as dedication for the Pioneer Connector Road.
All right, thank you for answering those questions. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Any further questions on our consent agenda. Lambert?
Mr. Mayor, I'll go ahead and make a motion to approve the consent agenda as read and explained.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and second to approve consent agenda as is. Any further questions or comments? Not hearing any, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Ayes have it. Motion carried. Next item is item 12, which is the consideration of options to fill the City of Los Banos council member vacancies in District Number 2 and District Number 3. And with that, we'll go to Bill, our city attorney. Bill Vaughn. Bill?
Thank you, Mayor. This item is item number 12, and for those of you who have a packet, you can find the staff report and the attachments on pages 89 through 105 of the packet. I'm going to give a brief presentation on what we're asking you to do tonight. As a result of the vacancies in District 2 and 3, the government code requires that within 60 days of those vacancies that the city council fill those seats either by appointment or by calling for a special election. So the West Side Express got it right partially in terms of what's required of the city. The 60 days actually begins at the certification of the election, which was yesterday by the Merced County election officials, which gives the city until February 2nd of 2025 to take one of those actions, either appointment or calling a special election. Any person that's appointed or runs for those seats would be elected to fill the vacancy for the unexpired term of those two seats, which is we're halfway through the term, and that term would expire approximately in November of 2026. So you'll be filling those seats either by election or appointment for the next 2 years, essentially. Neither of the persons who previously filled those seats can be appointed to fill those vacancies for the duration of the unexpired term. So let me talk about the two alternatives you have. If the city council chooses to call a special election, there are timeframes on which we can do that, and the time frame is we can't do it earlier than 113 days from the date of the vacancy, which gets us after the March election. And the next earliest election date is November 4th of 2025. So if you chose to do that, the election would not occur till November of 2025, and these seats would remain vacant for the next 11 or 12 months. We did reach out to Merced County and the cost to the city for calling a special election and holding such election. Their best estimate was that it would cost $94,915, which would be charged to the city. The other alternative that the city has is to fill the vacancy by appointment. There is really no legal requirements or process for any particular method of appointing to those seats as set forth in the government code. But having said that, the city has filled vacancies in the past. Over my tenure here for the last 20 years, I think we've done it a number of times, maybe 3 or 4 times. And the process we followed during those times is to include a notice to the public of the vacancy, to provide an application for interested persons who are qualified, which means they have to be 18 years of age, a resident of the district within which they're applying to, and a registered voter. And we would invite those applications and have an interview process, which will be held in an open session, either at a regular meeting of the city council or at a special meeting called by the city council to conduct that type of business. In the staff report, we've provided examples of what the notice is that we are recommending, and we've provided an example of what the application, how the application would read, and that was patterned after what the city has done in past practices. The city clerk and I got together and made sure that the notices and the application was consistent with what the city councils have done in the past, and those are attached to your packet and to my staff report. We've also provided a tentative timetable for you if you decide to go through the appointment process. And that's included in your staff report. And I'll take a look at that. But from memory, the tentative schedule would be that tomorrow, if the recommendation is followed, is that the notice would be published on the city's website and the applications would be available to any qualified person, as I've indicated who that would be, to submit an application to the city clerk, and that the application process would end at noontime. I believe it's on 2 weeks from today. I think that's December 18th. And we would, at that time, all those applications would be open to the public, available to the public, and would be distributed to the city council. We're suggesting that on the meeting of the 18th, once we have a sense of how many people are interested or have applied, if that's the route you're going to go, we would have a follow-up staff report to present to you regarding the process from that point forward in terms of setting up interviews and actually how the voting process would work in terms of selecting persons for the 2 seats. I think we've suggested January 2nd potentially as a date to interview the applicants. And that's a regular council meeting. It's the council meeting after January 1st, which happens to be a Wednesday. So the regular meeting, am I correct? The regular meeting would defer to Thursday, January 2nd. But December 18th, the council, in its discretion, could decide to do it by special meeting, decide on a different date. We're just proposing some tentative scheduling so that we get to the 60 days without being rushed to make this appointment. Again, the last day to do something would be February 2nd of 2025. We have holidays. We only have 3 meetings in between that. And so we need to be mindful of moving this schedule along. We're recommending that by motion that you either direct staff to begin the process for accepting applications by posting the notice, and that in the alternative, directing staff to take the necessary steps to bring you back a resolution to call for a special election. And I'm happy to answer any questions you may have about any of the documents that we prepared in your staff report.
Any questions?
Thank you, Mayor. I briefed over the, as it is indicated in the report, there are no laws or we don't have any ordinances within the city on a timeline for appointing someone. And when I looked at this timeline, it's taking us out a lot further than I'd like to see us move out. And what I considered is if we move forward tomorrow, rather than closing the applications on the 18th, we could close them on the 13th. And they would be up for review as the other dates are, the 13th and the 13th for the application review. And then on December the 18th, let's see, what was that date? December the 2nd. This is overrun the line here. January 2nd, Bill, what was that date supposed to be? 'Cause
It's a
it's kinda-
Thursday. That's the day after the regular meeting date, and that would be the date to potentially start the interview process.
Okay, so if that's, okay. So, again, I'm looking at December 13th as closing the applications, because I think anyone who's seriously considering this job will already know that they want to put in an application to be appointed as a council member. And then, rather than January the 2nd, move it to December the 18th, and then we could seat the new council members on January 2nd and not delay it much longer. I think this pushes it out a bit longer than I'd like to see. So those are the dates that I'm suggesting, is the 13th rather than the 18th, December the 18th for interviewing instead of January 2nd, and then January 2nd for appointment.
Thank you, Ms. Lewis. Mr. Lambert?
I'm okay with trying to seat them as soon as possible. But I mean, I want to make it fair too. I mean, I know she said everybody that should be able to get pretty quick, but you know, I still like to give them the 2 weeks that we would normally, like it's said here in the guidelines. I mean, we're still within the 60 days. I mean, we're still not going to have that lot going on during that time till February 2nd. I just feel like we need I mean, like, I think we were told by the city attorney, I mean, if we have to call a special election, we can call a special election if we need to get it in there. So, and I believe that's what we did in the past, a couple of years ago.
Yeah. Yeah, I've been, thank you. I've been a part of, I think, 3 people being brought up here and appointed to a council. In the past, one of the comments that always comes to me is you have to, you know, we have a newspaper that comes out once a week, and then we have the website that's 24/7. But people have to be noticed that this is even, everybody here is probably going to know what's going on all the time and that watches our meetings, but there's a lot of people that do not know. We got to give everybody the chance to apply, I think. And I don't think 2 weeks is too long. I think to apply for the position. I don't have a problem bringing a special meeting to appoint someone. I don't have a problem with that. But I think we have to let the process have some time. So I don't want anybody to feel like we've rushed them. This is big. This is a big deal. We've never appointed 2 at once. And we've also, one time, we had like 15 people apply for one position. And that took a long time that night of interviewing, you know. So I understand why you want to do it fast, and I understand that, and I see where you're coming from, but I think we need to give at least 2 weeks of notice to the people so they have time. If they don't watch the meetings, maybe they get the newspaper, they can read in the newspaper. We would have time to do anything in a flyer at the water. It's too late for all that. And maybe we can do something like that so everyone gets it. And the schedule calendars and stuff like that. We'll try to bring it out as much as possible. But I think we need to at least give 2 weeks. That's a good point, too. Yeah, and we have the holidays. You know. So I know, any more, Ms. Lewis?
Thank you. Well, the reason I would like to see it accelerated, and it is because Councilmember Lambert made a statement last week that he would be out for surgery in January. So if we can get these people seated by January 2nd, I don't mind the 2-week application period if that's what the council agrees to. But I think we need to be able to try to get these people seated by January, just in case Councilmember Lambert is not available.
Okay, Ken.
So I've already made the arrangements where my surgery's going to be fine. It's not going to put me in any jeopardy of missing any meetings.
No, that's good news.
Good.
Good. Yeah, go ahead, Bill.
So again, the timetable was set up as a tentative proposed timetable. We did set January 2nd as a target for the interviews and the selection. And we did that so that there would be enough time. I'm not going to repeat all that. Hope everybody heard me. So we try to put some flexibility in that. And so what we are looking for tonight is some direction so that we can make sure our notices accurately reflect the wishes of the council in terms of the notification deadlines. And then we anticipated in the December 18th meeting actually finalizing the date for interviews once you can see how many applicants you have and whether you want to call a special meeting or go ahead and do it on January 2nd. So we've kind of given it some flexibility there. The notice will just simply say that it's vacant, you have to be qualified, you have to be a resident of District 2 and 3, and that applications will be accepted till noontime on such and such a date. And then after that, we can send out notices to the applicants as to the interview process after you decide what you're going to do on the 18th.
Okay, so really what we need to do is decide on if we follow the 2 weeks for the notice to the public. And then you want to speed it up after that. We can just, after we see, if there's 2 people apply for 2 positions, we could do it on the 18th. You know, it's over, we're done with. But if there's a lot of people, then that's where we might have to juggle around a little bit. Special meetings or do it the next meeting or whatever the council wants. But right now, we just needed to say, let's advertise it, give them direction to advertise it, 2 weeks, have your application in by this date.
And I think in the years past, we've interviewed and appointed at the same meeting. So you don't have to wait till the next meeting
Correct.
to appoint the candidate.
You can, it's at the pleasure of the city council how they wish to proceed. And that's what we anticipated dealing with on the 18th.
And I agree with that, unless there's a lot of applicants. And that's just thing we don't know. Hopefully we do get a lot of applicants. I think that'd be great. And
are there any questions about the actual application? The notice doesn't have a date certain for the interviews. We did that on purpose so that would lend some flexibility to you to be able to determine that time once you have a sense of how many applicants you have. Again, we patterned the application off of the past efforts to appoint. I think we did one fairly recently. That was Mayor Faria's position, and then I think there was another one that was only a year or 2 before that. So we patterned the application off of what the then council developed. So noticed on the website and distributed to.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry. I thought you were done, Bill.
I am done.
Okay. Ms. Lewis, you had something else to say?
No, I would still like to get the appointments done as quickly as possible. I understand you wanting to do the 2 weeks, but certainly after the applications are received, you know, we're sitting here kind of setting these dates as a concrete date. And if we just have a few people, say 3, 4, maybe 5 people, there's no need to delay, you know, the appointment. So if we have, you know, as our city clerk has indicated, if we have the interviews on the 18th, as we did with the last appointment to council, we made the appointment at that time. I don't know, do we have to wait another period or call a special meeting for swearing in?
Mr. Vaughn, are you saying that December 18th is when they would figure out what they would do next?
Yes. We scheduled December 18th for you to be notified of how many applicants you had, to go through the voting process that you're going to employ in the selection, and then verify the date for the interviews based on the number of applicants you had, not to ignore the fact that the Christmas holidays are right smack in the middle of this. The city will be closed at least 2 of those days, and to try to churn out all of this at the end of December is a pretty heavy lift.
Lambert?
Can I say?
Yeah.
Okay. So I think it's all going to, you know, we can make that decision when it comes to on the 18th. Because, you know, like you were saying, we don't know yet what we're going to get. We get 15, then we may have to follow the system. If we get just a couple, then, you know, we might be able to run through it pretty quick, get it done with, and then we would still be able to make it by the January 2nd meeting. But I think the 18th is what's going to telltale us, pretty much. But we could still pass this tonight because we need to get this rolling now. It's not set in concrete that we can't call a special meeting after the 18th if we have to, even during the holidays, to get things moving quicker.
That's correct. Okay, so what is the desire of the council? We need to give direction to legal counsel to start the application process as deemed in our agenda. Ken? Go ahead.
Did you have anything else to say, Ms. Lewis?
My mic keeps going off.
Oh.
Thank you. Does anyone object that if we only have a few candidates on the 18th that we can, and if we have a decision made at that time, that we can move forward with the appointment?
That would have to be on the agenda then. They have to put on the agenda that we're going to appoint that night. So.
Right, so I guess what I'm trying to say is if we only have a few candidates, since we're just going to be vetting on the 18th and then do an appointment in the next month, a couple of weeks after that, is there any way that perhaps we can add a clause on this saying that if we have the candidates that we want on the 18th, that we can appoint that night? And then I think we can, because we can set the rule here.
I think what we can do on the 18th, depending what's in front of us, if there's not very many,
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
then we can call a special meeting.
Okay, so then I would recommend that we call a special meeting either on the 20th
No, that's
or
not
the
on our agenda
23rd.
tonight. Tonight is, the agenda is just to pick.
Well, I'm suggesting that we add that in this scheme of things, that if it's just a few people that we're going to be looking at, rather than waiting, you know, almost 3 weeks, that we call a special meeting or add to this action item, a special meeting be called either on the 20th or the 23rd if we just have a few candidates.
So I think if you want to make that motion, you have to make it in a sense that if it's determined by the number of applicants, then we have, we can call a special meeting. Because we can't make a motion to do something if we don't know what we're going to have.
Right, that's what
on
I'm
the 18th.
saying. If
Yeah.
it's just a small amount, rather than.
Yeah, well, we
Yeah.
hear you.
And we don't know that. So how would I word that?
I'd say,
For Mr.
Yeah.
Counsel? to
okay,
let
let's
me know?
see.
So I think you can deal with that on the 18th. If you see that you only have 1 or 2 applicants, you can resolve to call a special meeting to interview them before the 2nd.
So we don't need to have that as part of this action
I
tonight?
don't think so.
Okay.
And the mayor can call the special meeting with notice to the council, keeping in mind that this is going to be a public meeting. So to rush it through without notice to the public that the special meeting is going to occur might be problematic as well. And we considered that in these timeframes so that the public would have the ability to be at the meeting to observe the interview process, observe the appointment process. So I would just caution you to be careful with that, 2 days notice to the,
That's why you can call a special meeting and have that in the process. So we've called special meetings in the past or emergency meetings to handle something, and we noticed the public in that manner. So I don't see that as being a problem.
It won't be a problem. There's a difference between a special meeting and an emergency meeting. Yeah. Emergency, you do it in 24, yeah. Yeah.
Special meetings, we've had emergency meetings that
Yeah.
we've had to call, and the public is noticed. So I don't see that as a criteria in this manner to delay this into the month of January if we just have a few candidates, and we can make a decision in the early part of December to move forward.
We hear you loud and clear. And, I think, I just really don't want to rush this. If we rush the process, even though I know how important it is to get two more people up here, if we rush the process, then it'll be looked like we're putting these certain people up here that we want to close it off so nobody else applies and all that stuff. And I don't want any of that. And we just need to take our time, do the right thing, and get it done. I understand why you want to do it fast, and I totally agree with you. But I think right now, what we need to do is make a motion to direct legal counsel to proceed as we've been talking about on drafting the notices and get going. And then on the 18th, we'll take care of all that other business. So if I could have that, Mr. Lambert, if I could have that motion.
Mr. Mayor, I'll make that motion to go ahead and move forward with the process they have in place.
And a second?
Second.
Thank you. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. So please, if you're out there and being appointed is a lot easier than running an election, as you noticed in the last one. So it is very fulfilling to serve your city and your community. So I hope a lot of you apply and want to give your services to the city and our community. It really makes a difference in everybody's lives. So thank you.
thank you, Mayor.
Yeah, thank you, Bill. Okay, so we'll move on to advertisement of public notices. That's item 13, and there's no action on this item, and there's no report. And now we'll go to our city manager's report, Mr. Panero.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Congratulations on your appointment. Excited to have you here. Look forward to working with you and the new council, and all of us continue to work together to make progress for the city and continue the good work that we've been doing. So congratulations. Happy to have you.
Thank you.
Brief update. So if you folks haven't had a chance to go to by the community center, our fence is all put up and around the community center. Looks really good. So it's all completed there within the last year. We've done quite a bit of work at that community center, as I mentioned before. We painted the community center. We got a new fence up at the community center. We got new solar panel ports there. Parking lot's been paved. New digital sign has been there. We added some camera systems there, and maybe something else. But we've done quite a bit of work there at the community center within the last year alone. So really excited about all that work that we've gotten done. Just can't say thank you enough for the team over there that's been doing all that work. The other one is on 7th and J Street, the Ranchwood Park, which is off of Stonewood Drive, I believe it is, and also Vineyard B, a park over there as well, which is our furthest north park within that Ranchwood area. We are repaving 3 of those parking lots. Really excited about getting those done. Those things have never been paved before, so it's really nice. And that 7th and J Street one has been there a long time. It's a public parking spot, so that'll be nice and paved there here shortly, so we're excited about that. Also, we have quite a bit of events that are going to be coming up between now and our next council meeting on the 18th. We have Hot Cocoa with the Popo coming up. We have our Christmas parade that's going to be happening in coordination with the Chamber of Commerce. That's this Saturday. I believe it starts at 6 o'clock, plus or minus. Something that's really exciting about that is we are having our another drone show. So for those of you folks that were able to go to the first drone show that we had, which was at Noah Jones Ballpark in the summer. We are having another drone show that will be hosted after the parade. So please stick around. The drone show will be located plus or minus right by the community center. So after the parade, I know depending on the weather, if it's raining, then I'm sure some of us may be in a hurry to go home. But if not, bundle up and please go take a look at the drone show. We're really excited about that. What's really cool about the drone show is just it pleases everybody's sensitivities, right? Especially our little animals that we have at home. So we're really excited about those things. And then also, I think on the 14th, if I'm not mistaken, we have breakfast with Santa in the morning, and then in the evening, I don't know the time off the top of my head, but we're having movie night at the fire station. And the movie they are showing, I think, is The Grinch, right? Yeah, my memory's doing better than I thought. So quite a bit of activities and things that we've got going on here at the holiday season. And just a big thank you to all the team for all the hard work that they've been doing. As you folks can see, our downtown is looking really good. In partnership with the Downtown Association. We've got all of our Christmas lights down there. It looks really great and beautified. The plaza, that folks done a lot of work there at the plaza. A team that's put a lot of work here together, beautifying our council chambers. So really being in the Christmas spirit. So that's my report. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Now we have MCAG report. We'll start with San Joaquin Valley Air Pollution Control District. Ms. Lewis.
No report, Mayor. I gave a report last meeting. Thank you.
Thank you. And I will be attending the MCAG meeting. And I guess I'm going to be on PCE to the Peninsula Clean Energy Commissions too. So I'll be reporting on those after I attend those meetings and see what's going on. So with that, we'll go to our city council reports, and we'll start with Councilmember Kenneth Lambert.
Appreciate it, Mr. Mayor. First, I want to congratulate, I guess, all three of us, Ms. Lewis, myself, and the mayor for now newly joining the new council tonight. I also want to, we got pretty good shoes to fill from the last couple of years, what we've done, and I believe we can do it. I also want to congratulate the outgoing Mr. Jones, Mr. Begonia, and Mayor Paul Yanis. During the last couple of years, since I've been council here in the last 4 years, we've gotten quite a bit done for this city that I've seen in the past, and I hope that we can continue as once we get our new council people in District 2 and 3, continue to keep growing Los Banos and keep it moving in the direction it needs to keep going. So, and that's all I have to say, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Ms. Lewis?
Thank you, Mayor. First, I'd like to give my congratulations to Don Bronson, who is retiring from the city of Los Banos, I think, after 22 years of service. Well-deserved, and I know that he's going to enjoy his time as a retiree, and I thank him very much for the years of service to the city of Los Banos and to the residents. I also want to thank the voting residents of District 4 for their continued faith in me serving here on council. This is my 4th term as a council member for the city of Los Banos. It's very important that we represent our district and do the best that we can to represent our community at large. I have been faithful to return calls to the people that I represent and to answer their questions and to try to do the best that I can to move projects forward in this in District 4. There were some very important projects that were moved forward, and that was state streets, the homes that were built for the dam workers who worked on the San Luis Reservoir Dam. They had no sidewalks in that community, and we were able to work with monies from Measure V and other monies in the city to get sidewalks in that district. So once again, I want to thank the residents of District 4 who voted for me and to give their trust in me to help move District 4 forward, and I will do my best to continue to serve you. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyway, I'd like to start off by thanking the residents of Los Banos for placing your trust in me once again. It's truly an honor to be your mayor. Being mayor the last time was one of the greatest privileges of my life, and I'm very honored to be able to serve you again, and I will do my best. I would like to go ahead and thank my wife, Michelle. She has to put up with a lot with the election and now the next 2 years. My children, Ryan, Alyssa, and Christopher, my friends, my families, my supporters, the trust you've given in me, I really do appreciate it. And it means the world to me, and that's why I'm here to serve the city and everyone. I think we're ready. I know I'm ready. The two of them are ready. Congratulations on your election. I'd also like to thank the past members for serving the city of Los Banos, and wish them well in their future. I know they'll be very successful in their future endeavors. And I know there's a lot of challenges ahead of us. My honeymoon period lasted about 6 minutes, I think. And, but that's okay. That's what it's all about, because we're trying to make people happy and this city better. From the animals to the residents, everything has to be better. To the buildings, everything has to be better. So, and that's our goal. So I really do appreciate it. The next thing I want to talk about, we lost an ex-city employee, Rick Dahlgren, a few weeks back. And he served as Parks and Rec Director while I was mayor the first time. What a great guy. I just want to tell one little story. We had just purchased the railroad corridor, and we were trying to do the plaza at the end of 6th Street. And we heard about this grant that we could get through the federal government. We worked on it. Everybody told us, you really have to apply like 3 times to get these grants, and they awarded the second or third time. And so Rick and I flew up to Seattle. We did a dog and pony show, and he talked about all the logistics of the plaza, showed the plans we had designed, and then I came in and said the benefit to the community, the residents, how our residents needed it so much. And before we left Seattle, we were awarded $3.5 million. So that was all on Rick. So he was quite a guy, and I hate to see that he passed, but wish his family and the best, and our prayers are with them. At our next meeting on December 18th, we're going to have our open house that is held every year. It starts at 4:30. You can come and meet your 3 council members and have some punch and cookies and celebrate the Christmas spirit with us. So we hope you can join us between 4:30 and 6 on the 18th, and then we'll start our meeting at 6 o'clock here in the chambers. And I do hope a lot of people apply for the 2 positions that are open. I think it's a good, well-rounded group of citizens sitting up here is good for the city. Different views, different opinions. That's all really good. You can learn from each other, and we can move the city. And we need 5 people to move the city forward. I'm looking forward to working with all the staff. I met some of you already. I've known some of you for years, and I'll be visiting each department real soon, and looking forward to that. And let's see, with that, thank you very much. I really appreciate it. This meeting's adjourned.